Good morning and happy summer. I am Christina Felchlin, Director of Technology Consulting with Ledgeview Partners. I would like to welcome you to today's Dynamics 365 User Group webinar. Our spotlight training topic is Voice of Customer. For our current customers, welcome back. It's always great to spend our time with you. For those new to Ledgeview Partners, we are a business and technology consulting company who partners with organizations to transform sales, marketing, and customer service operations and processes that are supported by our core technologies, including customer relationship management and marketing automation. We provide strategic business advice, process definition, and technology solutions to advance your business. Once again, I want to give a kudos to our marketing team for putting together some great content. Our marketing coordinator, Julia, is a rock star, and just yesterday, she added a new ebook called 21 Tips to Building a Successful Inside Sales Program. So if that's something your company is interested in, make sure to check out that new ebook. We also have added infographics for background versus real-time workflows and 6 segment types to break down your leads into. As always, we have many blogs published month to month on a variety of topics, including CRM user tips. You'll find webinars like this, ebook-focused blog posts, thought leadership, social media tips, and much, much more. And this month, we are proud to share case studies for Lefa Tech and Carter's Oshkosh B'gosh. For our agenda today, we are going to focus on the Voice of the Customer feature. With Voice of the Customer, you can create and send out surveys to get feedback from your customers about your products or services. Those users then can take surveys on the phone, tablet, or computer. Michael will show you how to create a Voice of the Customer survey, what survey parts are available to use, how to distribute the survey to gain feedback, and then resources and reporting. We'll even show you how you can theme the survey. We will then answer the one user-submitted question and tell you about our upcoming webinar. Now, to get to today's feature topic, I will turn it over to Michael Dodds, Application Consultant with Ledgeview Partners, as he gives you key information about how to implement Voice of Customer.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Christina. As you all know, I love to give the weather report, as our marketing guy, Chad, likes to always tell everybody. It is summer, it is warm. It has been incredibly warm here, unseasonably warm. We got a little break today, so I hope wherever you are enjoying summer, grilling out, enjoying your time. Winter will be here before we know it, but we got a lot of great information on Voice of the Customer to get to, so let's jump on in. As Christina said, spotlight topic, Voice of the Customer. So we focused on what Voice of the Customer is, but we also want to know why. So just to kind of recap, Voice of the Customer, or if you're cool, VOC, it's an incredible tool. It allows us to create and send surveys to our customers and get feedback on how we're doing, how our products are. Our customers can easily take those surveys, on the phone, tablet, or, if you want to go a little old school, on your computer. But again, what's the why? This is what we're always driving for. What is the why? We always need to keep that front of mind. We have an ever-moving and adjusting marketplace. It's not like it used to be. It's not, it's not as stagnant as it used to be. It's ever-moving and adjusting. And if we don't know how our customers feel about us or our products, how are we going to adjust? We're not going to be able to. We always know that surveys are important. This is something that we've learned over the years. But this information can now be put into CRM with Voice of the Customer. So we all know we have sales. We have counts, contacts, leads, opportunities. So you have the pipeline. We have customer service. This has been built up and become even better than it has been with service management, queues, auto case creation, with all these amazing things. And now we're adding one more piece to the puzzle with Voice of the Customer. Are you kidding me? We now have all this information right in CRM at our fingertips. So we can pull survey data, pipeline data, case history. We can tie it all together. CRM really is a one-stop shop now. You don't need other systems. It's right here. You can pull it all together. Okay, so that's the why. So let's jump on it. So creating surveys, right, from the designer. So we're going to go in, we're going to fill in our pertinent information, then save the survey. I probably said this a few times with a lot of different records. You have to save your information before you can really get to the cool stuff. So then we're going to have to change your form to a survey. There's not a little button called Designer. For any of you that have like Click to Mention, there's like a Designer button up at the top in the ribbon button, in the ribbon section. It's not like that with this. You need to change the form to designer. So it's a little bit of a change. So just bear that in mind. So let's jump into Dynamics, and I will show you how to do that. So from our main menu dropdown, we're going to go to Voice of the Customer. We're going to go to Surveys. Create a new survey. Just click on New. And we're just going to fill in our pertinent information. We can just name this Demo. And a lot of information is filled in already. So then we come over here if we want to restrict it to multiple completions, anonymous responses. Do we want to accept responses from respondents that are not currently in the Dynamics 365? Yep. Do we want to use CAPTCHA? Do we want to enable social sharing? Do we want to allow unsubscribe? So these are ones that are pertinent to your business. These are decisions that you're going to be able to make right here. Okay? Your survey runtime. Okay? So then you're looking over here. Do we want to add a theme and a logo? We're going to get to that a little bit later. So these are different information that you can put in here. Do we want to show a progress bar? Do we want to show page numbers? So this is also different appearance pieces as well. So the more you get into this, the more advanced you can start making your survey. But again, these are not required fields. So fill in the pertinent information, anything that's required. So a theme, I will warn you, the default theme is not a very graphically pleasing to the eye. I will show you what that looks like when we are done here. So I will just show that piece to you. When the survey is already taken, what's the text box going to say? Only one response is allowed per respondent. You can change that to what you'd like it to say. Survey completed. So when it's completed, do you want to add in some information here? When it's completed, do you want to link them out to your website? So you can put a link in there and link them right to your website. That's a really cool feature that you can do as well. Okay. Invitations and actions. You can fill out this information in here. You can have invitation link text. So there's some great information in here as well. Once you save the survey to start with, okay, this is where you change it to designer. This is the meat and potatoes of creating the actual questionnaire. Okay? So this is just your welcome screen. So if we click in here and then we click edit, little pencil button for the edit. So if I wanted to come in here and I just said, hey, welcome to the LVP demo survey. And click save. And this is just descriptive text. Then I click back. And that's my welcome screen right here. If I go to page 2, now I can give this section a header text. I can add in a secondary section right here. So if I hover, I can put in a new section. I can just name this demo section. Okay, I can put an image in. I can add some descriptions. I can make it visible or do not display. I can have all those different pieces of information in here, okay? I can do a save and close, and then back. Go back to my designer. Now I have 2 different sections, okay? Now we're on to the important pieces. Now I can do different sections here, okay? Now, before I start building this, I'm going to take us back to the PowerPoint presentation, okay? Because I just want to go through each of these, because I'm not going to put each one of these just because we only have a half an hour. It'll probably take about a half an hour to go through each one of these, okay? So I'm just going to go through these ones. We're going to add a couple of them to it just to show you how they're added and the different things that you can do, okay? So a short answer, just simply a fill in the blank, okay? A long answer is a multi-line fill in the blank. Rating, it's just simply a rating field. Okay, a single response, it's a question, and then they're just radio button little responses. So you put in different responses, but they can only, your respondent can only choose one. Okay, so pick different responses, but only pick ones in which they can only choose one answer. If you want them to be able to choose multiple, for example, if I was going to ask a group of admins, what experience do you have with adminning CRM? Do you have experience with business processes, workflows, adding updating forms, things like that? I would choose a multiple response. Okay, so it's a question with multiple responses, but they can choose multiple. Excuse me, I had a typo there. So they can choose multiple there. Okay. Date, this is a fill in the date. Okay, just simply you say what the date field is, and they fill in that date. Descriptive text, that welcome piece, that was a descriptive text. That's all it was. Numerical response, this is a question, and the response is numerical. And ranking, this is just simply a ranking field. Net Promoter Score, this is something that's come around recently, and it's used quite a bit. Six Sigma uses this. Is how likely are you to recommend a company to a friend? Okay, and then there's a breakdown in terms of scoring. Okay, it's a 1 through 10. In Six Sigma, it's a 1 through 10. So this is just simply an answer to that question. Customer effort score. Basically asking the customer, how much effort did you personally have to put forth to handle your request? CSAT, customer satisfaction. This one I find very funny. It's the smiley rating. It's simply a smiley face rating. That's all it is. And they're very entertaining smiley face ratings. So if you're sending this out to a group of customers that you feel would find things humorous, then this is definitely something that would gain that kind of traction. List of ratings, this is a really cool one. You set a list of different rating names, and you can set a rating image from a list of options. Single rating in columns, you can choose one rating per row. Okay. Multiple ratings in columns, you can choose multiple ratings per row. Fixed sum, you put a number for each row, and then it totals it up for you. And then upload file, it gives your users the ability, your customers the ability to upload a file. So for example, if we do like the multiple ratings in a column, we come here. If we come down here, you can give some information up top, and then questions, one per line. So if we did test, and then demo, test 2, different items like that. You can say, hey, yes, this is a required response. No rotation. We're not going to rotate the columns. And then we're saying, okay, column headers. What do we want our column headers to be? And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Excuse me, 1, 2, 3. I only put 3 up there. So that's how we're going to do those across. And then we're going to save. Okay. And then we're going to go back and take a look at this. So then you can see there are multiple checkboxes. So then I can check multiples across. If I put some information, some header across the top, that would have been the information right here next to the star. Okay. So those are the different ones there. And then you can do, and then I'm going to show you the smileys one. Because this one does take a little bit of setup. It can be a little bit confusing. So if I go up here to the smiley one, again, if you want to do the response required. So I'll select the face that best describes your relationship with LedView partners. And then we go, okay, responses. There are responses. We can go with big buttons, visible. And then we come down here. This is the important piece. If you do not flip this to yes and you hit save, you can be like, hey, I thought this was a smiley face. Where are the big tappy smiley faces? You're not going to see them. You want to make sure you flip this to yes and click save. Now, if we go back, this is pretty interesting. You can see these big, huge smiley faces down here. Oops. Of course, it's not going to show us now. Let me jump back in here real quick. And I'll show you on these. There is a setup with these ones, and I apologize. It just isn't quite doing what I wanted to do. I'll show you on my my demo one that I have set up for you what they look like on there. But there's different ones that you can drag across for them, and then you have complete, and then you can set up you know, a message here at complete. You can add a message in here. Okay. So that's how you just drag and drop, and then you configure them. Okay. So let me bring you to the survey that I have complete. Actually, I apologize. Let me show you this one first and why I highly recommend setting up the theme, because this is what the out-of-the-box theme will look like to your customers. Unfortunately, this color scheme is really, it's a little bit glaring. So I do recommend changing your color scheme. I will show you what the one that I set up does. It looks a little bit more polished. So I will go to designer and I will show you what they look like. So then if we go to preview here, this is what this one looks like. So this one looks a little bit cleaner, a little bit more professional. And I apologize. Actually, in the designer, the smiley faces won't show up. They don't show up until you actually go into the preview mode. So they do not show up in the designer. They will show up when you go into preview mode. Okay. So then you have these different columns. So then right here, I have the webinar rating, customer satisfaction right here. So as you can see here, there's some pretty entertaining ones here, like bored, sad, annoyed, disappointed. You click next after you complete them and saying, hey, please check the highlighted questions before leaving the page. Saying, hey, response required. So it's telling you that, hey, you need to do this, and then click here to submit your survey. Okay. So it's a pretty nice one to be able to complete and work on. And then you can publish your survey when you're completed with it. All right, and then the next one is response routing. So this is a really, really cool piece. Okay, so surveys can have multiple routing rules. So this is based on responses that your customers are making in regards to the questions that they're being asked. You can route them to different questions. So you can hide or show another question or skip a question, and you can do that. You can do different things client side, and you can do different things server side. So, and each one has a different set of options that you can do. Client side is more what you're seeing, like what the customer is seeing of what their next action is. Server side is more based on what's happening behind the scenes in terms of like answers that are being given. And I'll show you what this looks like. Set your conditions based on the question, operator, and answer. And you have to use group and or group or logic. Just like business rules, you can't mix logic. You can't do group and then mix in an or. You can't mix the logic. Okay, it's either all group and or all group or. The answer is not required. I do highly recommend putting it in. And then you're going to set your actions. This can be client or server. And then you can set your otherwise actions. So if these conditions are met, set this actions. Otherwise, do this. Okay, so let's jump in. I'll show you the routing rules. So this is actually done from within the survey. So if we go within the survey, go back into the survey, go into test. Right here, response routings. So if we go into response routings, I have this one set up right here. So I have this set as group and logic, and then I have my test routing, And I am just saying, based on this question, how likely is it that you would recommend LedgeView Partners to a friend or colleague? If it is greater than 4, okay, that's what I'm stating. Okay, survey, test. Then my action is client side. Okay, so my action is client side. And let me refresh that page. Sorry about that. So this voice of the customer is definitely a really nice tool in terms of being able to do these routing rules. It just definitely takes the logic of CRM and takes it to the next level of being able to do these different items with the voice of the customer. Because with standard surveys, you're really not able to take it to this level in terms of really being able to hide and show these different things. I mean, and it uses a lot of the same CRM logic that you're used to using. You know, in terms of the hide and show, the logic of, you know, conditional, group or group and different things like that. You're used to these already with things that you've built within CRM. So it's just taking it to the same level and applying it to the voice of the customer. So it's really using that same logic, and it's not something that you have to really relearn. So it's a nice piece to be able to add and allow you to really connect with your customers using CRM quickly. So if we go into the client here, into the client active response, this is our action. So we're saying our scope is client, and then we're saying, okay, this is what we named it. Client is saying, okay, for this survey, that's our test, our action is show. So we can say show, hide, skip to, completely end the survey. We can change it to another survey. You can toggle visibility. Those are different actions. We're saying, okay, so, and then obviously based on your action, this can change the next pieces along the way. So we're going to page 3, we're going to this section, and we're going to this question. So then we're saying show this. So naturally, that means my otherwise action, meaning if my condition isn't met, then I need to hide this question, okay? So the other option would be client side. So if I come here and I go, all right, new, I can do client side. So if I come over here and I open this record up, so this is when you create a new routing rule. If you create a new routing rule, your first thing that you're choosing is your scope, in this case server. So I'm just going to name this test. So your response outcome is so complaint, low score, distress, unsubscribe, high score. You have all these different pieces. Okay. So what am I doing? Am I logging a complaint? Oops. So the response outcome type. Okay. So when the server type is, so when the conditions are met, okay, what's my response outcome? Okay. Okay, so then low score, unsubscribe, follow up. Those are the different server items that we're going to take place. Okay, just like before, we're going to show, we're going to hide. What are we going to do? Okay, here we're going to do an NPS increase. Okay, those are the different things that we're saying we're going to take action of. Okay, so those are the different things to do. And then we're saying, okay, the sender user, the user to notify. Those are the different things to do. Okay. And then we close that page. So those are some really neat features that you can do in terms of response routing. Next is survey distribution. So there's non-anonymous and anonymous surveys. So most common is non-anonymous surveys. This is basically when you're sending it to, anonymous surveys are basically when you want to utilize for lead creation and information gathering, okay? You don't know who you're sending it to. Non-anonymous, you know who you're sending it to, okay? Anonymous, you simply copy the survey URL, you paste the link into this distribution channel that you're using. Okay, non-anonymous, more common. You'll want to copy the survey code. I'll show you exactly how to do this. It's recommended that you use an email template just because, again, email templates are used to send in bulk, but more customized. The email template can then be sent directly from the survey through direct email to a list of contacts, through a workflow, through a quick campaign. The only time you're going to use survey invitations or survey activities if you're not sending it through Dynamics 365. Okay. So really what you do is you go directly into the survey itself. Okay. You go to copy snippet. Okay. Allow access. You're just sending a one-off email from CRM. Just pop that right into the email and send it. Putting in an email template, copy it into the email template, and then send it to a group. I recommend sending the email template through a workflow as well. So, but basically you need that snippet to be sent to the customers. Now, what this means it's going to cover into the next piece, which is also reporting. But this is how you distribute out to your customers the survey. Then they click on the link and they take your survey. Okay? And in that preview, that's how they see it. That's how they take it. So then survey responses and reporting. You can see the responses in many different ways. You can see the responses from the survey response entity. That's everything. You can see them directly from the survey record. There's a next to it where we saw the response routing. You can also see survey responses, so you can see all the responses directly associated to that survey. I recommend that way, then you're seeing a list directly associated to that survey. You can do advanced find, you can do reports, and you can do survey dashboard. Okay, there's a couple different reports that I'll show you and a dashboard. Okay, so right from here, so the reports, so the survey responses, you'd go right here. You can see the survey responses. So if I wanted to see one, so Christina, if I wanted to see what Christina said, I could come in here. I could see her score. She apparently did not think we did a very good job in terms of scoring, but she gave us a facial expression of very satisfied. Facial expression type was positive, so that was good. So very satisfied. She was building workflows. So it's just this customer satisfaction score was not filled out. So that's okay. So that was perfect. And then come down here. So that's the information that we have from the survey that we had filled out. Okay. So simply we just had these pieces of information. Okay. So we got this information back. Okay. Again, we're going to get more information out. The more we make things required in the survey, the more information we're going to get back. Okay. Because there was 4 or 5 questions in the survey. When you make more things required, you're more likely to get more information filled out. Okay. The other thing that you can do right from the survey is you can also look at the dashboards. So if I go back here, so under Survey Designer, I just quickly go right to Dashboard. Now, the cool thing is when you send this out, I sent out 6 emails. Some of them as one-offs, some of them as bulk direct emails right here. Survey invitation sent right here. Total responses, 4. Okay. And then my average satisfaction rating score is a percentage, 54. If I want to take a look at the summary overall, I can take a look right here. Okay. So that's some really great information. Then if I want to look at reports, I can take a look. I can do run reports. I can do a net promoter score. I can do a survey export or survey summary. I'm going to do the survey export. Take a look right here. So they're really easy to run. You can run them right from the survey. So if I want to take a look, Mike, Tom, Chris, and Christina are all ones that filled it out. I can see their responses right here. I can see all that information. Okay. Really great information. Okay. Then you can also do advanced find. Again, this information's right in CRM. You can run advanced finds. Okay. And then last but not least, images and themes. You can upload images through the voice of the customer. Okay. So you can do different images. If you want to put an image in the upper right corner of your survey, you can definitely do that. To do that, you go here, images. Okay. You just simply create a new image record. Go new, fill out a name. Then as always, you must save it before you can do anything. Upload your image. Okay. After uploading your image, you click submit, choose your image format, and then back on your survey. Right here, you simply add it to your image section. Just right in the middle here. Right here. That's all you have to do. Okay, and then for theme, as you saw, the out-of-the-box theme, it's a little bit tough on the eyes. And actually, this piece, as soon as you click new, what I showed you was default. When I clicked new, all this stuff was already in there. But you can do header, section, navigation bar, answer, hover over the answer, okay, progress background, okay. You can also do the runtime CSS, the summary CSS to use for the report summary and email. And you can even go so far as custom theme. But as you can see, all these items kind of flowed down from right here. So those flowed down. Okay. So this is where you update the theme. This is where you can get something customized to your color scheme for your company. Okay. Make it your own. That's all for voice of the customer. Next, we're going to jump into our one user submitted question. Our question is, if you could show a solution for the following: if I create a new account which is related to a parent account, I would like that address field of the account I would like that the address fields of the account created will be updated from the parent account. Okay. So basically, if the account that you create and you set the parent account, there's two different ways that this can be done. This can be done via data mapping, and it can also be done via workflow. Okay. If you are creating this, so basically this can be done via workflow, but the more I read that one, this could also be done via data mapping. And the reason why I say it can also be done via data mapping is because if you create it from the parent account, so if you go into an account and there's a child account subgrid, like if you have a child account subgrid on your account form, and you click the plus button there, you can do data mapping, which will you can bring over the address fields. You can just make sure that the data mapping is set up. You can set up the data mapping that way. That's done through the customization section, the one-to-many relationship between accounts. Okay, can definitely be done that way. It can also be done through a workflow, which just simply means we can do it where you go through and you pull the address fields from the account and you pull it down into the child account, which can definitely be done because it's a lookup field. Okay, so for a workflow, it's very easy to do. So for processes, and I apologize, my processes button is, we'll just go in this way. So there's another way to get to the processes section. There's a way, if your processes button, if you ever see your processes button is missing, it can be added back to the sitemap. But if you need to get to it quickly, you can always go through the customization section, processes, and just click new. So that is another way to do it. So parent account, all we're doing is a workflow. So it's all through the account. Literally what we're doing is we're just looking up to the account through a lookup field. And what we're going to do is we can do this when the account is created or the parent account field is changed. We're going to change this to organization. We're going to look through that parent account field, grab the address from there, and then pull it down and populate the address field of the account is basically what we're going to be doing. So there's two different ways to do that. Keep in mind, the only way the data mapping is going to work, not the workflow that we're doing right now, is if you click that plus sign from the parent account record. That's the only way data mapping works. Okay, so if you ever change the parent account later, you're going to have to do a workflow. Okay, very, very important. Okay, always throw in a condition. It doesn't matter if this needs to work every single time, because if later on you do want a condition, you're going to have to recreate the entire thing. So I always recommend having a condition, even if that condition is going to be met every time. I apologize, my CRM is running a little bit slow right now. But basically the next steps that I would be doing is I would be setting a condition that the parent account contains data, and then I would be doing an update of the account record, and then going through that lookup and going in and grabbing the address fields of the parent account and dynamically updating the address fields. We do have work information out there on workflows from previous webinars that we have done. So if you do have any interest in those and more information on webinars, on workflows, there are past webinars that have information on those. Since the condition part is not working, I'm going to bypass that one and just show you this piece. So what we would do is we would come over and we would update each one. So I'm just going to show you how one of them would work. So if we go through here and we go street 1, we would come through and we would go through parent account, and you would go address 1, street 1, add. It would go here, and you would just repeat it for all the different ones that you want to pull over. Save and close. Then you do save and activate. That's what you would do. Okay. The data mapping would simply be done through account, one-to-many relationship, and then there's an account-to-account relationship through there. And that's the way that I would handle that piece.
All right. Thank you, Michael, for the great content. We hope you all enjoyed today's content. Our next user group webinar is Tuesday, August 21st at 11 a.m. Our spotlight topic is Microsoft Flow versus Workflow. We know summer schedules are busy, so if you can't attend live, please register and we will send you a link to the recording. For other resources, if you have a Facebook account, please consider joining our LedgeView Partners Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM User Group. This group is for users and admins who want the latest insight, top tips, best practices, and more from our Microsoft Gold partner, us LedgeView Partners. On behalf of myself, Michael, and all of us at LedgeView, we thank you for taking the time to attend our user group webinar today. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great day.